The Dragon Ball Super manga is entering the Tournament of Power arc at an interesting time for the franchise. For some time now, Toyotaro has been drawing the series at his own pace while allowing the anime to get much farther ahead. The Tournament of Power is the longest arc in Super, the tournament itself clocking in at 35 episodes, and that is not including the additional 20 episodes of the pre-recruitment arc before that. Considering Toyotaro spent 13 chapters on the Future Trunks arc, which was only 21 episodes in the anime, one has to wonder how long his version of this arc is going to end up being. Is his plan to use the time between the end of Super and the beginning of the inevitable next series to conclude the Super manga and get a head start on its sequel? If nothing else, Chapter 33 shows that Toyotaro is not wasting any time getting the tournament off to a running start. Whereas the anime dragged its feet with certain subplots and lets a lot of the lower tier threats hang around as fodder, the manga is much more merciless. Contenders whom were given a lot of focus in the anime, like Prum, Jimmise, and Katopezla, have already been taken out, ruling out notable plot threads from being repeated in Toyotaro's version of the story. Most notably, Prum's early elimination means that Tenshinhan's role in this arc will go in a completely different direction in the manga, and it's going to be interesting to see how Toyotaro uses him. God damn it, Toyotaro. While certain elements of the anime's version have been carried over, Toyotaro has structured the plot in a more narratively cohesive order of events. There's a much clearer focus and direction for each of the U7 characters involved in the tournament and who their rivals will be. 17 is pitted against foes from Universe 10, 18 is against foes from Universe 2, Goku is fighting with Universe 11, Vegeta is taking on both Universes 3 and 4, and Krillin, Tenshinhan, and Master Roshi are being targeted by Frost, while Frieza is taking advantage of every easy opportunity to get rid of people. While Gohan and Piccolo are still lacking roles, there's already been several established plot threads for readers to grasp and follow, which is more than what the unfocused early episodes of the anime's version gave viewers. In general, Toyotaro is beginning a lot of storylines and rivalries that develop later in the tournament more expediently. The Pride Troopers immediately go after Goku when the tournament starts, following up on how they see him as their biggest threat. This puts Goku in an interestingly vulnerable and frustrating position, since their consistent interference means he can't let his guard down. They're also actively preventing him from engaging Jiren, who is uninterested in fighting him and is busy dealing with other foes. And Goku's disappointment over this is more compelling than his cheerful obliviousness over Jiren's indifference in the anime. Toyotaro has also gotten a head start on the rivalry between the androids in Universe 2. 18's elimination of Prum and Jimmise has caught the attention of Ribrianne, implying that their fight is going to begin much earlier. It's also telling that Ribrianne and her posse are already in their transformed states, which is another indication that Toyotaro isn't going to waste any time drawing out minor transformations or stalling the action with prolonged comedic moments. Even more interesting is how Toyotaro is handling the alliance of Frieza and Frost. Whereas the anime dropped the ball in this subplot, addressing it only once after a dozen episodes to facilitate a cheap elimination, Frieza actually has a plan here. Frieza's goal is clearly to be the last man standing so he can make a wish on the Super Dragon Balls, so getting his own teammates eliminated is as much of a priority to him as getting rid of the top tier threats. Ergo, manipulating Frost's hatred of Universe 7 to trick him into doing his dirty work is a perfectly in-character tactic for him to try. Even then, Frieza is smart enough to know that Frost doesn't have a chance against the Saiyans or androids, so he tells him to go after the humans, whom he thinks will be easy pickings. Toyotaro has successfully fit Frieza's alliance with Frost into his overall plan in the tournament in an effective way that actually makes sense for his character. It's a much more satisfying follow-up than Frieza pretending to ally with Frost to pointlessly mess with Gohan and getting rid of him without much else accomplished. For all the lip service the anime gives to whether Universe 7 can trust Frieza, he never does anything that actively undermines the team. In contrast, the manga has made Frieza's presence feel genuinely dangerous for the heroes. We're actually seeing him betraying his teammates, as opposed to being more of a compliant, if albeit aloof, ally in the anime. It's a smart way to keep Frieza in character, as one of the most despicable villains in the franchise, and narratively justify his presence in the tournament as an interesting wildcard beyond simple twists. Toyotaro has really put a lot of attention into developing the characters. Jiren's motivations and personality have already been established, making him more intriguing as an antagonist. Considering what anime viewers now know of his personality and what he wants to wish for, his disgust for Goku and more active involvement in the battle feels more appropriate than being just a stoic brick wall like how the anime originally presented him as. Toyotaro also gives some notable attention to Master Roshi, Krillin, and Tenshinhan in this chapter. The three are grouped together both when discussing the no-fly rule and the mysterious absence of two of Universe 4's teammates. In the former bit, Roshi coolly tells the team that they shouldn't stress out over not being able to fly, telling 17 that a real fighter needs to approach every situation with a cool head. While this leads to an amusing gag where Krillin and Tenshinhan mused that Roshi couldn't fly in the first place, it still emphasizes Roshi's maturity and confidence as a fighter, despite arguably being the weakest member of the team. When Tenshinhan senses additional presences on the Universe 4 team, Roshi immediately surmises they might have an invisible member, and Krillin worries about the prospect. This moment emphasizes Tenshinhan and Roshi's perceptiveness, and references when Roshi and Krillin helped Yansha fight an invisible opponent back in the Fortune Teller Baba arc. These two scenes establish the trio of Roshi, Krillin, and Tenshinhan as a close-knit unit, and it'll be fun to see how their teamwork will factor into their fight with Frost.
Oh, fuck you, come on, god.
While this chapter is intriguing narratively, the art is a bit of a letdown. Toyotaro is an excellent mimic of Toriyama's artwork, but his habit of cluttering panels with lots of characters and text-dense word balloons can make exposition a drag to read. Toyotaro's action sequences also feel very lacking. They're really quick and pretty basic in terms of layout and sequencing. The poses aren't really that interestingly framed. They don't really convey the weight and impact when characters get hit. Overall, they leave a really light impression. Instead, Toyotaro excels at drawing really cool standalone compositions. His attention to Jiren's back muscles certainly get across the sense of his power, as does that ass. And the spreads showing off the Universe 7 team and then the full scope of the Battle Royale are laid out really well and leave a lot of impact. These images are memorable enough to stick in the mind, but ultimately, this chapter is carried by Toyotaro's storytelling more so than his artwork. Toyotaro has shown himself capable of drawing really interesting action sequences and compositions before, particularly during the climax of the Future Trunks arc, so I'm hoping that when he gets into the more action-heavy parts of this arc, we'll see him at his best. The manga's version of the Tournament of Power is going in a very different direction than its anime counterpart, and the possibilities are exciting. Even if you enjoy the anime's version of events, Toyotaro's altered interpretation is surprising in what it chooses to use and what it omits. Since Toyotaro isn't beholden to the anime, he can take the story in any direction he wants to. With so many characters to play around with, the combinations of memorable fights and character moments he could come up with are almost limitless. Sure, we know that the final battle is going to be Goku vs. Jiren, but how we'll get there in the manga is still a mystery. The fact that Toyotaro can preserve the mystique and make a story that's already been told still feel fresh and exciting is a truly remarkable feat. And that's why I'm going to continue reviewing new chapters of the Dragon Ball Super manga from this point forward, because I want to see where Toyotaro takes the Tournament of Power, because it's already gone off in a completely different direction, and I want to see just how different and possibly how much better written, more focused it might end up being overall. Because this has been quite the controversial arc in the anime, but Toyotaro's version of the arc might salvage a lot of people's opinions on it. Hope you guys enjoyed this review of Dragon Ball Super Chapter 33. I hope you guys enjoyed watching this video. Let me know if there are any other series besides Dragon Ball Super you would like me to do manga reviews in this style for, because I'd be up for it. I certainly have ideas myself. But until next time, guys, This has been LumRanmaYasha, your Manga Maverick, and I'll see you in the next one. Sayonara!